The Greater Narcissist. 5 facts. There are essentially 5 central questions about our kind. Here are those questions applied to the Greater Narcissist. Number 1. Do we know what we are doing? The Greater Narcissist is gifted, though of course his or her victims will not regard it as a gift as such. With an awareness of what he or she is. They may not know the label by which they are known, but the greater of our kind knows that they are considerably different. They know that they have this insatiable hunger for the outpouring of emotion, whether positive or negative, from those around them. The Greater Narcissist knows that there is a feeling of emptiness which pervades. Whilst the lesser narcissist has this manifest as a sense of unease and irritation, the greater feels a yawning chasm which must be filled. The lesser narcissist operates by instinct, a knee-jerk response. The greater narcissist also operates through instinct a lot of the time, but there is nothing knee-jerk about him or her. This instinct is attuned in the sense of selecting the victims who will hemorrhage fuel. This instinct enables the most effective seduction, the most devastating devaluation, and the most callous of disengagements. The instinct for scenting fuel, and those who will provide it, serves the greater narcissist considerably well. He has an instinctive knack for selecting the best hunting grounds, an innate ability to target the most productive victims, a chilling capability to extract and exploit information, and to cause people to think that what they are doing is a good thing, and one they wish to take, when in fact, the greater narcissist is manipulating them. The greater narcissist is aware that he or she is considerably different from people. He or she recognizes that their emotional spectrum has been stunted, or, as we prefer to regard it, has been altered to achieve maximum efficiency in our machinations. The greater narcissist knows he operates in a different world to other people, and revels in such a special status. He or she knows that they are superior, admired, and feared. 2. Do we know that we hurt other people? Unlike the instinctive response of the lesser narcissist or the instinctive, with some degree of consideration, more moderate reaction of the mid-ranger, the greater narcissist knows that he or she is an instrument that inflicts pain. Whether it is the withdrawal of something wonderful or delightful, or the imposition of something unpleasant and hateful, the greater narcissist knows that they hurt others. They regard every action taken in this regard, every step, every machination as necessary for their survival and advancement. The greater narcissist fervently believes in the doctrine that the end always justifies the means. Pain, misery, and hurt are byproducts of the process which he or she must engage in. The inflicting of hurt on another person is regarded as a collateral consequence of the need to obtain fuel. The greater narcissist knows that during devaluation and the malign hoovers, that the application of his or her behaviors is specifically directed to cause hurt. You'll take the view that he or she does not care, and you are correct in that view, since the greater narcissist, like all narcissists, is not created to care. What you ought to understand, though, is that this failure to care is actually secondary to the need to acquire fuel. If all that mattered was the inability to care, then we would administer hurtful behavior all of the time. The reality is, the order of priority is that fuel must be obtained, and during devaluation, this causes hurt to other people, And furthermore, we are not designed to care about this hurt. By contrast, someone who is manipulating a dislocation back into place knows that pain will occur, but it is a necessary consequence of the act. The difference is that this medical doctor will care that the person is being put in pain, and also seek to address that once the dislocation has been addressed. 3. Do we act deliberately? Virtually everything that is done by the greater narcissist is deliberate. The lesser narcissist responds as a matter of course. The mid-ranger acts with significant instinct, with a smaller element of consideration as to what action to take, and to do so with some sense of purpose. But this pales compared to the behavior of the greater narcissist. The actions that are taken are planned. The seduction is orchestrated from careful target selection. The reconnaissance of the subject and the gathering of information is organized, and the seduction is methodical and deliberate. The greater narcissist does not speak without first considering how effective those words will be. Are they to be used to elevate or to denigrate, praise or punishment, elated or eroded? Like some great architect in the sky, the greater narcissist, in accordance with his godlike view of him or self, sees other people as chess pieces, which are moved in accordance to his or her wishes to cause checkmate. The greater narcissist purposefully manipulates everybody around him or her. Each person has a role, a position, and a purpose. The greater narcissist acts with considerable deliberation, and indeed, this need to position and pose all the players in the narcissist's world results in the need to control being overwhelming. To be this deliberate in manipulating other people requires a significant degree of control over other people. Therefore, the greater narcissist will exercise his or her skills to achieve that outcome. 4. Can we control this behavior? Not only is the greater narcissist an expert in the control of others, he exerts considerable control over his own behavior. His higher functioning allows him considerable latitude to pass the blame onto others and feign an inability to control what he does. I don't know what comes over me sometimes. It is as if somebody else takes control of me. I cannot help it. It just happens. It is like there is some other force that makes the decisions for me. All of these comments are lies. The greater narcissist is able to direct his ignited fury to a level and extent beyond the capability of others of our kind. This is why cold fury is exhibited by greater narcissists, as we are able to control the ignited fury so that it does not emerge as heated fury. And rarely would it show in the form of physical violence. That is not to say that physical violence will not be meted out by the greater. It will, if it is deemed necessary. However, such a reliance on such brutality through physical action is regarded as beneath the greater narcissist, and is an insult to his Machiavellian mind. The greater narcissist revels in his higher function, allowing him to devise and apply far subtler and rewarding manipulations. He or she is also mindful of the consequences of providing damning physical evidence of the abuse. The only time this formidable control weakens is when the greater narcissist is thrown into chaos mode as a consequence of a sudden and unseen cessation to his or her primary source of fuel. 5. Can we stop it? The greater narcissist could stop his or her behavior to a large extent, owing to the degree of control that he or she is able to exert. But whilst there is the capability to stop this behavior, both benign and malign, the greater narcissist will not do so. Firstly, this is because the greater narcissist sees no need to. Why stop something that is highly effective and serves a purpose in allowing him or her to shine and function at some impressive to him or her level? Why halt doing something which always delivers? Secondly, the greater narcissist will not stop this behavior because the malevolence which runs through him or her will not allow him or her to do so. Why give up such a delightful way of manipulating someone? Why relinquish such power over an individual? Why stop flexing those muscles of machination? Why stop doing something that is both necessary but also enjoyable? The lesser does because he is programmed to always respond in such a fashion. Choice has effectively been removed from his thought process. The mid-ranger also acts primarily through instinct, but also does so because he realizes that certain behavior is necessary for his survival, but there is not enjoyment or malice driving the behavior. The greater does because he or she can. The greater does because he or she is driven by the furious malice which burns at the center of this school of narcissist. This malice arises because the higher functioning greater narcissist is more aware than the others of his brethren just how unfair and brutal the world is. He is attuned to its attempts to depose and dethrone, and he knows that engendering and harnessing this malice is entirely necessary for the purpose of protection. It is better to strike first than be struck. It is better to get the retaliation in first. He who dares wins. The greater is a dangerous individual, because not only does he regard what he does as entirely necessary, he is driven not only by the need for fuel, but he is driven by the malice that is wrapped around our core. This means we go further, longer, stronger, and more often than others of our kind. We are the defilers, the punishers, and the destroyer of worlds. Your worlds.